Halo, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Luciana and I'm from Andrology A. Okay, at this time, I'm going to tell you about International Journal of Molecular Sciences, and the title is Mechanism of Central Hypogonadism. Okay, this journal is out in 2021 and the author is Thomas M. Barber and friends. Okay, the first is I'm going to tell you about hypogonadism. Hypogonadism refers to a reduction or absent sex hormone secretion or other reproductive activity of the testes or ovaries. Hypogonadism is classified both clinically and biochemically as primary hypogonadism or PH, reflecting the facts at the level of gonadal tissue, and CH reflecting the fact within the central hypothalamo-pituitary reproductive unit. Biochemically, hypogonadism manifests with low serum level of the sex steroid, testosterone, and estradiol in men and women is respectively, and variable serum level of gonadotropins, luteinizing hormone LH, and follicle stimulating hormone FSH, according to the level of the defect. Okay, the clinical manifestation of hypogonadism include subfertility, reproductive dysfunction, anovulation, and amenorrhea in women, and in men is erectile dysfunction and non-obstructive azoospermia. And non-specific features such as reduced vitality and well-being, physical weakness, bone mineral loss, and to some extent emotional lability and reduced libido. The vulnerable of the HPG axis renders CHXL relatively common clinical scenario, especially in the context of obesity, predominantly in males, and severe stress. Indeed, it seems likely that CH is underdiagnosed given its frequent clinical presentation with non-specific features. Furthermore, it seems likely that there is a reduced awareness of CH as a clinical entity among non-specialist healthcare professionals. Okay, the second is the HPG axis. Considerable insight has been gained into the ontogeny, development, and functioning of the HPG axis through studying patients with a genetic mutation that result in ICH. The numerous identified gene mutations for ICH fall naturally into three main groups that control. The first is neuronal differentiation and migration, the second is GnRH secretion, and the third is development GnRH receptors. Each gene mutation has a variable effect on GnRH neuronal migration or functioning that in turn determines the severity of the clinical phenotype. This ranges from mild constitutional delay of puberty to more severe phenotypes. It is beyond the scope of this concise review to provide a detailed exposition of the genetics of ICH recently outlined elsewhere. Okay, the third is prolactin as a natural contraceptive. For many decades, there has been a recognition of lactation as a natural contraceptive and a means of gaining central control of reproductive function. Indeed, globally, the lactational amenorrhea method remains important for contraception and family planning. During cycling, afferent neural input passes from the nipple to the hypothalamus via the spinal cord. This signal causes a local release of a beta endorphin that results in suppression of GnRH secretion, with consequent suppression of gonadotropin release and arrested ovarian follicular development, ovulation, and menstruation. To complement the direct suppression of GnRH secretion, the hypothalamic release of beta endorphin also suppresses the production of dopamine that in turn results in increased production of secretion of prolactin from the anterior pituitary gland. Prolactin as a natural contraceptive. Okay. The mechanism by which Raised serum prolactin mediates the suppression of gonadotropin release during lactation, and suckling remains incompletely understood. However, there is an evidence demonstrate that prolactin inhibits the hypothalamic secretion is kisspeptin. The suppression of kisspeptin release in turn results in reduced stimulation of GnRH release and development of CH, a process which also involves an endogenous endorphin or dynorphin. It's likely the kisspeptin neurons also contribute towards the feedback regulation of protein secretion. Okay, this is a summary of drug cases of hyperlactinemia. The drug groups there is a neuroleptic, antidepressant, anti-emetic, antihypertensive, anti-emetic, anti-hypertensive, depressant stimulant, and hallucinogen. And the drug name is there is phenetoiazines and others. Okay, the first is leptin as a gatekeeper between survival and reproduction. From an evolutionary perspective, both lactation and stress are potent suppressors of the HPG axis. While the mediated influence of lactation on HPG axis suppression occurs through the effect of prolactin release from the anterior pituitary mast forms of stress suppress an HPG axis through mechanisms that are independent of an elevated serum prolactin. However, other than stress, in addition to prolactin, leptin represents an important determinant of HPG functioning in both men and women. Leptin acts within a relatively narrow range of serum concentration, any deviation from which can result in compromise of HPG functioning. Okay, the fifth is about resignal from the outside. The HPG axis is vulnerable to signal from diverse origins having explored. The endocrine contributors to HPG functioning, including the roles of protein and leptin. Numerous environmental signals influence the proper functioning of the HPG axis. By definition, such signals originate from outside of the body. Furthermore, these signals have diverse modalities that include both chemical and physical insult, the mechanism by which external signals disrupt the HPG axis through the example of morphine, anabolic androgenic steroids, AAS, physical trauma and stress. The second, the next is to treat or not to treat. Okay, in any clinical scenario, the potential of CH exists. It is important to appreciate that the identification of CH does not necessarily imply an urgent need for treatment with hormone replacement during acute illness or distress. The temporary occurrence of CH may actually fulfill a protective role. It is opposite to consider the occurrence of CH and its clinical scenario, including psychological CH, such as during lactation or menopause. In certain scenarios, such as CH from underweight or hypoleptinemia, a clinical decision is required regarding the need for hormone replacement. The last is about conclusion. To conclude, the HPG axis is vulnerable to numerous factors that include endocrine inputs, effect of prolactin, leptin, and beta-endorphin, neural signals such as occur during suckling, inflammatory molecules including interleukins and cytokines, stress, weight loss, and energy deficient states, hypothalamo-pituitary relation including disconnection, hyperlactinemia, and numerous external signals such as oppias, AAS, physical trauma and stress, the complex ontogeny and GnRH neurons with diverse genetic regulation further enhance the vulnerability of the normal function of the HPG axis. Finally, numerous drug therapies are associated with raised serum prolactin with the potential for the development of CAH. Okay, I think that's all for me. I do apologize if I made a mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.